I want to bring the lake to the Reynolds family, and I've got 3 weeks and a $30,000 budget to build them a huge tiered deck that will get them down to their dock in style. Above the Reynolds' existing floating dock, their ramp will lead to a second level, a cantilevered deck that juts over the water. Steps lead up from that to another big deck with a surprise, a built-in storage unit for all of their water toys. A series of steps and landings will organically wind up the hill to the cabin to get them down to the water comfortably. It's the first day of the build, and the materials have arrived right on time. The first challenge I see with this piece of property is the waterfront. We have a steep slope, and we have uneven rocks and boulders. We have to incorporate a living area down at the waterfront where we can create some flat space for them to live. All right, guys, first thing we need to do is we have to excavate some of this earth here and see what's underneath. This terrain is a real headache, but my guys are the best in the business. They've been helping me solve problems like this for over a decade. I'll need 2 guys on shovels. Curtis and Rob are excavating the steep slope so we can determine the square footage of our upper deck by figuring out how far back we can set our beams. Steve-O and I are measuring the rocks for the placement of the crucial crossbeam. So what we need to achieve is we have to get this first beam out as far as possible so that we can cantilever over the water. So we'll have 1 anchor in that rock, 1 anchor in this rock. This guy here can serve as our middle post for support. We're gonna need our secondary beam for our joists, which will be somewhere around here. The first challenge. This first rock is the linchpin for the crossbeam. We have to figure out how to incorporate these huge rocks. They're just too big to move, so we're gonna have to work with them. I don't think this stump's gonna work the way it is, Steve-O, for the level. It's not flat enough. If you can grab a Sawzall, we'll make it more flat, and then it's a great spot for our laser level. Within 1/8. So anywhere around here, I think it's good. We're gonna be able to get the beam farther out than I had thought, which is great. We're notching out the rock right now so that we can have a level area for the saddle to sit nice and balanced so it's not gonna tip or warp. All right, I think we're good for the saddle. Scalpel, saddle. Getting these measurements for the beams just right is essential at the beginning stage. Once the beams are set in the saddles, they become the foundation to the entire project. Ah! Okay, so what I've done here is I've just set up our temporary posts. I'll run the laser level, cut these posts off at the same height as that saddle on the rock, then we can set our beam. The building bylaw, it is very specific on how much square footage I'm allowed over the water and how much I'm allowed over the land. And when you're building something organic like this, you know, on paper, it works great. In reality, there's many obstacles to deal with. The Reynolds family are living in their dream home on the lake. All they need now is to get to the water. The property is steep and the waterfront is rocky, making it difficult for the family to enjoy their surroundings.
It's a burden, and there's a lot of eye rolling and a lot of, obviously there'd be a lot more fun if the stuff was already stored. So that is something we're looking to resolve.
I've got 3 weeks to create a multi-level deck with enough space for everyone. But there are rules about just how much land you can cover with a deck like this. And with my organic building style, I'm worried that this deck might break the local bylaws. So at one stage of the game, I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to be way over my square footage allotment for overland, but luckily that rock ledge here that comes in is forcing my back deck to be farther over, which is shrinking my square footage over land. So everything's working out peachy. You there? Now that we've set the first beam in place here, we're working on setting the back beam. Then on top of those two beams, we're gonna set our joists, anchor them down, cantilever over the water. So far, so good. We've cut the rock down for the first beam. That all went well. How's it going here, guys? What are we finding?
Well,
Rock or earth?
roots.
The back beam, we've run into a little bit of trouble.
So that the joists sit on that and hanger off of this guy.
If I do that, I can anchor the beam in here, but then I can't anchor it back here. The only solution is brute force. More digging, more work. Yeah, poor Curtis, I think we gotta take some more root out. The root of all evil is right in front of us. Thanks to Curtis's grunt work, we can move ahead with putting the decking down.
Rob's gonna grab one end of the chalk line, I'm gonna grab the other and do a snap. Then we're gonna grab a skill saw and we're gonna cut that off, giving us the shape of the deck. Once I came up with the idea to angle this piece here, everything started coming together for me. When I'm done with a deck piece like this, it's more like a functional piece of art. Sometimes I'm more surprised how it turns out than the actual customer. What do we got?
168, 198.
So we're pretty much 16 feet right to there. Let's make the upper deck 16 feet long, because we're gonna be coming up over this rock here with our stairs. It won't interfere. And then we've got our new elevation up here. So that's what we have to excavate. That's what I call woodworking.
There's still a lot of excavation to do for the next level of the deck. If we're gonna stick to our timeline for the Reynolds, we just can't do it all by hand.
We're going that way.
So it's time to bring in the big guns. Say hello to my little friend. This is gonna save a lot of shovel work. Thank goodness it's here. Woo! At the Reynolds cabin, we only have 3 weeks to transform their lakefront.
We're going that way.
And the excavation has turned into the biggest part of this job. It's times like this that we need to bring in some reinforcements in the form of an excavator. While the excavator clears the space we'll need for the upper deck, I'm working on the fine details on the lower deck.
I'm trying to get a nice, accurate shape of the stone here, so I can scribe this board to that, so this entire deck will form the shape of the existing rock. It's very important for me to do a really good job with the scribing, because it just shows a lot of craftsmanship, and it really blends the deck into the environment. The pencil spacing is an old carpenter's trick. It's just something you always have on hand, so you use it. It works out great. The spacing is consistent for your decking, and it's just something that carpenters have been doing for generations. I really wish I had some sandpaper. I don't have any sandpaper, so sometimes the best thing is go old school. Piece of rock, natural sandpaper. Beautiful.
The excavator helped us dig in fast, so we've got the joist for the next level of the deck going in already. We've got the lower dock on. It's awesome. It's exactly what I was hoping to achieve. We're over all the rubble and boulders at the waterfront, cleaned it all up. Barb and Kevin, this is gonna be their party central. It's gonna be fantastic. Up here, the higher level, which is gonna be kind of sitting, watching all the action going on down here, It's been going great, but then as we worked our way over here, man, this rock just came right on up out of nowhere as we excavated. It's higher than the bottom of our joist, which is a big issue. If we can't get rid of it, we won't be able to build this part of the deck. So we're looking at potentially losing 75 square feet of living space for the Reynolds. We tried an expanding product to kind of break the rock up and remove it. We showed up in the morning, the product didn't do anything. So now, plan B. We're gonna have to cut it up, chip it up, maybe even scribe a couple joists over it. Luckily, this is where my experience and creativity will come into play, and I'm gonna make it happen. This looks great. We're just finishing up the stairs here right now. Rob's got them scribed into the rock around here, which is really nice. Keeps with the scribed feel sucked into the landscape. They're gonna be able to access their favorite little rock down here. Love it. We've relocated the ramp and floating dock. We put it on a bit of an angle to keep with the whole flow coming down. It's very organic feeling, looks great, feels great. As you make your way up here, you can see the landscape still isn't really helping us out. So I've decided we've got to add a bit to the project. We need some platforms. We're gonna step them up, try and get it up higher so that the overall flow of the project is easy all the way down, all the way back up. I'm just trying to figure out the angle of the approach of the first little deck here. I think I'm gonna luck out again, just with my elevations, that our top boards should be right around here. I should be able to do some nice scribing into the rock here as well, which ties in the scribing we did down there and the stairs. It's gonna feel very custom, very cool. I think overall the shape's gonna work. A little bit wider on this face. I think it's gonna work great.